It has often been claimed that Canada is Drake's domain, his home base that launched him from his early Degrassi mixtapes to worldwide fame. However, recent statistics from Luminate reveal that Drake is not even among the top Canadian artists on the global scene. Instead, The Weeknd, another artist from Toronto, has taken the title of Canada's biggest international success. This unexpected turn has sparked conversations in the music industry about national pride, global appeal, and who truly represents Canada on the world stage. By the way, welcome to Celebrity Hip Hop Showroom, where hip-hop and celebrity drama never sleep, so hit that subscribe button so you never miss the mess. Let's get into it. Picture growing up in a city where the skyline is your first view, your local radio station plays your songs before anyone else, and your parents display posters of your teenage dreams on your bedroom walls. For Drake, that city was Toronto. With tracks like Best I Ever Had and God's Plan, he created a narrative that the world experienced through his chart-topping singles and sold-out shows. Yet, despite his extensive output, record-breaking streaming figures, and steady presence on the Billboard charts, Luminate's latest rankings show him falling behind The Weeknd, whose real name is Abel Tesfaye. The Weeknd is now recognized as Canada's top global export, based on international streaming, sales, and radio play. He is the only Canadian artist in the top 5 of global charts, while Drake is either unranked or positioned much lower, an unusual circumstance given his prominence. How did this come to be? To grasp the situation better, it's important to examine the dynamics of global markets. The Weeknd has established his reputation through atmospheric R&B and musical innovation, making significant inroads in Europe with club-ready tracks and haunting ballads. He has headlined stadiums in cities like Tokyo, Paris, and Rio, often performing alongside pop legends. His music has been featured in films, TV shows, and commercials around the globe. He has collaborated with brands like Gucci and YSL, and his sound has crossed genres, fitting smoothly into Latin remixes, Afrobeat collaborations, and K-pop playlists. On the other hand, Drake has focused on a different musical style. He has perfected catchy rap-pop fusions, set records in North America, and maintained a strong connection with his audience there. However, his sound, once praised for its emotional depth, has faced international criticism for being predictable. Critics argue that his lyrics, which once conveyed vulnerability, have shifted towards a safer blend of bravado and slow jams. For every viral TikTok dance featuring a Drake hook, there's an international listener wondering, who is this guy again? This shift in dynamics helps clarify why Drake might not be as recognized outside of North America. The Weeknd has adopted a more international strategy, performing at festivals from Helsinki to Singapore, whereas Drake has concentrated on football stadiums and NBA arenas, which keeps him more regionally focused. The Weeknd has become a musical ambassador for Canada, reaching global audiences, while Drake is often seen as a local figure whose international recognition fluctuates between being highly visible and just another North American rapper. In the week following Luminate's announcement, an interesting trend has surfaced online. Canadian listeners are rallying around The Weeknd. They are streaming Blinding Lights repeatedly and expressing surprise that their top streaming artist isn't the one behind One Dance. They are revisiting hits like Can't Feel My Face and Save Your Tears, while showing little interest in Drake's recent releases. Social media polls indicate that The Weeknd is viewed more positively in terms of Canadian pride, while Drake often finds himself overshadowed by up-and-coming indie artists from Canada. At the same time, Drake's support for UK rappers has gained new significance. He has frequently praised British artists like Stormzy, Dave, and Skepta, even suggesting that London rappers outshine their American peers. While this seems to be an expression of solidarity, it now appears more like a strategic move. If he isn't receiving support from his own country, he may be looking for validation elsewhere. The UK music scene, known for its loyal fan bases and support for innovative artists, embraced Drake early on, celebrating his crossover success with One Dance and his collaboration with Skepta. However, support from Canada seems to be waning, as if his fellow Canadians are seeking other options. Is it possible that Drake's constant output, dropping mixtapes at midnight and flooding the market with freestyles and collaborations, actually lowers the perceived value of his work? In contrast, The Weeknd cultivates a sense of scarcity. He carefully releases albums and unveils new chapters through cinematic trailers. His periods of silence are as significant as his music. Fans eagerly await his releases, marking their calendars and organizing listening parties and fan theories. When The Weeknd releases albums like After Hours or Dawn FM, it feels like a major global event. On the other hand, when Drake puts out another single, it often gets lost in the overwhelming volume of his work. This isn't to undermine Drake's influence. He transformed the rap genre by incorporating melodies into his lyrics, turning personal experiences into chart-topping hits, and making vulnerability a common theme in rap. He put Toronto on the cultural map and has helped launch the careers of many artists, such as Post Malone, Travis Scott, and J. Cole. However, on a global scale, The Weeknd has notably represented Canada on the biggest platforms, becoming synonymous with Canada at the Grammys and selling out tours in places that Drake seldom visits. The question arises, does Drake still represent Canada on the global stage? Or is he transitioning into an American artist with Canadian roots, overshadowed at home by a more enigmatic peer? If both Canadian fans and international audiences are streaming Save Your Tears more than Hotline Bling, what does that indicate about Drake's current path? Much of this relates to change. Every major artist experiences phases of dominance and times of adjustment. Drake may be in a phase where his streaming numbers are declining and his status as a global icon is shifting. However, this doesn't diminish his impact. It merely highlights the cyclical nature of the music industry. One artist rises as another takes the lead. Drake put Canada on the global rap map, while The Weeknd expanded Canada's presence in pop music. Together, they have forged a musical identity that transcends playlists. Nevertheless, the perception is difficult to overlook. If Luminate shows that The Weeknd is Canada's top global export and Drake is lagging behind, the message is clear. Drake is not even ranked in his own country, which is now recognizing another artist. Fans express their astonishment on social media. Canada prefers Abel over Aubrey, while Drake's critics seize the opportunity. Drake has been surpassed again. Even Drake's recent attempts to embrace UK lyricism seem like a search for validation abroad, as his home audience becomes increasingly subdued. At the heart of this discussion is a lesson about loyalty and identity. A country's musical exports reflect national pride, highlighting their roots on the international stage. Currently, The Weeknd is at the forefront, performing at festivals from Tokyo to Berlin, with his After Hours mask logo attracting attention at merchandise stands in Rio. On the other hand, while Drake's image still appears prominently on billboards in North America, it is less visible in Asia, Europe, and Latin America. He remains a significant figure, but his shine has faded. Looking to the future, will Drake alter his strategy? Will he venture into new sounds, pursue innovative collaborations, or take a step back to regain the appeal he once had? Or will he continue to release mixtapes, hoping that the next hit will restore his global prominence? And will Canada, his home country, observe his gradual decline and question whether he ever truly represented them throughout his career? Ultimately, this situation isn't about failure, it's about perspective. Drake's legacy is still strong, even with The Weeknd rising as Canada's leading global star. However, this change indicates a shift in influence. In today's digital world, where playlists and algorithms dictate musical tastes and global markets seek fresh sounds, every legendary artist must confront the necessity of reinvention. For Drake, the key question is whether he can reclaim his status in Canada or if the symbol of the maple leaf will be carried by someone else. Currently, the evidence, and Canada as a whole, clearly indicates that The Weeknd is leading the way. Meanwhile, Drake, who is not ranked, watches as audiences embrace another Canadian artist's work. This situation, more than any diss track or ranking, may represent Drake's greatest challenge yet. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this situation, so please share your opinions in the comments. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay updated on this story.